One of the easiest ways to find primes that may need subs is to hop into USASpending. And you'll see very quickly why I like this more than using FPDS, which is completely outdated to me, or SAM.gov, which is really difficult to kind of create these types of reports. You can do a lot of this on the fly, and I'm going to show you how. So we go into search award data. Once you're in here, I typically start with a keyword. Now, there's a lot of different fields. You've got keyword, time period, award type, agency, location. You can get really granular in how you do this, but I typically start with something very simple in a keyword. And I'm going to show you the difference between keyword and NAICS code and why I typically do both, so that you can get a feel for both of the types of results. So we're going to start with janitorial. Once I do this, I'm not going to set any other filters because I want to show you just the magnitude of this. So this is not me selecting anything here or anything like that. And we're just going to hit search. Now, when we do that, here are the contracts that pop up. That's a lot of contracts that come up. We couldn't possibly sort through that. So the first filter that I'm going to add is a date range. And I typically look at either the last month or the last 90 days because I happen to know off the top of my head that this is not going to produce a ton of results. I'm going to do with the last 2 full months. And so we're going to start there. So that's the last 2 full months. I don't know that I necessarily need to go farther than that at the moment, but that's where we're going to start. And we're going to hit submit search. Now, that's a lot of results initially. And one way to pare that down is you could either change the date range or you could do the location. And in this situation, because I'm doing janitorial and I probably want to stick to my state for the place of performance, I'm going to go into location. I'm going to choose United States. I am currently in Tennessee, so that's the work I want to look for. I scroll down all the way down here to Tennessee. I add that filter, and just so you can see it change here, right now we have 1,215 opportunity or contracts. Now it's going to drop it down to 11. This makes it a lot easier for me to look at these companies. There's only a handful of companies here for me to look at now. Here's another view that I like to look at. I like to click over on categories and go from awarding agency, which awarding agency is nice because you can see who they're working with. And if you want to work with Department of Transportation, Commerce, VA, whatever it may be, you can see right here all those dollars and see if it makes sense to reach out to these people. But here's what I wanted to show you. I switched this category over to recipient. And now that I'm over on recipient, we can actually see a list from largest to smallest, who the contractors are that are winning work in Tennessee in this 2-month period. This unique cleaning service is clearly the winner in this business here. So I probably want to reach out to them. And to reach out to them, you can do it a couple of ways. One of the easiest ways, you just click on their name there. It'll pop this page up. Now I can learn a little bit more about them before I call them, but I've got their UEI right here. I could go look that up in SAM and see their entire profile in SAM, along with who their government, contract folks are. And so that's one way to do it. In fact, why don't I show you what that looks like? So once you get logged into SAM, all you have to do is come back to their profile, copy their UEI, come into SAM, and if you click on search and change domains to entity information, then click on paste their UEI in here. That is going to give their profile. Now, I don't like the way the profile is today. Like if you want everything in their profile, like all their statuses, all that kind of stuff, you actually have to download the profile to see all this information. But initially out of the gate, I know this is the company because it's the same profile here. I've got their website. I've got a bunch of other information here, but what I'm looking for is down at the bottom, their points of contact. Now, this basically is saying that the owner of the company is the main contact for, government contracting. So Willie Sellers Jr. is the person to talk to. So if I were to, I'll just scroll back up. If I were to click on their website, I've got the phone number right here. I know Willie is the guy to talk to, and I could look and see who else is on their team, but he's the guy to talk to about government contracting. There's a couple of other folks on their website that you could talk to as well, but he's the guy. He's listed in the profile as the person. Now, he could just be listed there because they wanted to list him because he's the president of the company, the owner of the company, that sort of thing. Don't worry about that. I just reach out to them based on that. You could browse around their website, learn a little bit more about what they're doing. You could also come back to their profile here and see what statuses they have to see if there's anything that matches up with what you're looking for teaming partners, that sort of thing. You could scroll through here and look and see what type of, trajectory the company's on. It looks like they're in a bit of a growth cycle at the moment. You could see who else they're working with, so Department of Transportation and VA are important to them. You could see some of the sub-agencies that have been awarded to them. And you could continue to go down and see, hey, what are their main NAICS codes? So they're not just doing janitorial, they're doing facilities maintenance. So in fact, that's a big category for them. So that's important for you to know that. And then you could also look and see, well, what are the states they're primarily working in? And notice that, hey, Tennessee is number 3 on the list. So clearly I'm in Tennessee, they're in Tennessee. That's a big deal. But they're also working in Georgia and Virginia. And maybe you're on the eastern side of Tennessee like I am, where Georgia and Virginia are just a hop, skip, and a jump away. In fact, Virginia is really close to me. It's I think where I'm at right now, Virginia is about 45 minutes from me. Georgia's about 2.5, 3 hours for me. So if I am in Tennessee and I want to do more work in Virginia, maybe this company is going to line up really well with where I'm trying to do work. So you've figured that out all in less than 10 minutes of research. You've got a target here that's pretty good that may need your help. Now, you could continue to click through and look at all of these, but I want to show you some differences in the searching so that you kind of get a feel for this. Now, one of the things we can do is remove this keyword here, and we can put a NAICS code right there. And so the NAICS code for janitorial is 561720. Now, I'm putting it here just because I know that's where a lot of people are going to put this NAICS code, and it's actually not the right place to put it, but I wanted to show you what will happen. So I put that NAICS code in there, I hit submit search, and look what happens, 0 contracts. And that happened because this is for keyword, this is not for NAICS code. If you want NAICS code, you actually need to come down here and put the NAICS code in here. This is where that goes. So 561720, we'll put it in here. We'll go ahead and select this. We will now submit this search again. Scroll back up, and there's 8 contracts. So you saw if you put the NAICS code in here, you got 0 results. You saw that if you use the keyword janitorial, we had 11 results, but if we use the NAICS code, we only had 8 results. I don't know why it works that way. However, I know it's important to try the 2 different options. So try the keyword, and then once you've run the keyword, then go do it by NAICS code just to see if you get any different results, because you never know. So that is a little tutorial on finding some companies in here that you could do some sub work with and do some teaming with. And we've done it with just a very simple couple of searches. I want to show you one more thing about this. So if one of the things that's really, really important to you is that the recipients are, they have a certain status, all you would have to do is come in here, and to me, this is my favorite place to look for this, is look at the type of set aside. Because if you are looking for 8A companies to work with, you are going to find that 8A companies that have won work, by the way, you will find that by clicking on some of these, like, so let's say it's 8A, or let's say it was HubZone or whatever it is, and you want to see those types of contracts, this is where you would come in and click on those types of set-asides to change the filter. You could also, under the recipient type, do this in here, but this is not necessarily going to show you that they won an 8A type of award. If they've won any type of award, regardless of how it was actually solicited, as long as this is in their profile, it's going to show them. So if I want to look up 8A companies who've won 8A contracts, I'm going to go and use this, this type of search versus the one that's just on the business side of it. And so just a little, reasoning why I do it that way.